At the time, he was cosplaying at 6 feet. He's not 6 feet.
I said 5'11" though. Like honestly, I said 5'11".
And boots. You know what I mean? I'm Obio.
And I'm Jermelle, and we've been together forever.
He's on a show called The Upshaws on Netflix, and they did an episode where he was about to come out to his mom. And so I saw who he was. I was like, oh, he's attractive. So I DM'd him like,
You just said attractive.
I mean, gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous, the finest thing I ever did see. And I DM'd him, and what was interesting though was I was in a season of my life where I needed a friend. So I think that's kind of what started it, because our energy wasn't immediately romantic. It wasn't like, it was very like conversational.
Yeah, I agree. But I had saw his content like weeks before we were interacting on DMs, and I just remember saying, like just feeling so seen. Like he was just super cool. So I think just me being gay and kind of battling with that, and seeing someone who was just really comfortable and really confident, and just flat out just a cool person, I was just really inspired. But I mean, I obviously thought he was really gorgeous. And then he DM'd me, and I was like, low key, I was kind of nervous because I'm like, how am I gonna play this? Like, I gotta play it cool. Like, I can't act like I can't stand out.
Cool for being honest. He was speaking in Braille. It was like, it was like one word answers. Everything was like, I could hear him whispering when I was DMing him. I'm like, dude.
I was just trying to be cool because I felt like he was cool. So like that, But I was a little coy. I was a little like. I was just shy. I think I was really smitten in the beginning, and I just honestly didn't know what to say. I felt like I wanted to say everything right,
We were friends for 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
And legitimately friends. Because again, I was really committed to looking for a friend. I had just came out the closet a year prior. He wasn't fully out of it yet. And so I think both of us just found safety in each other. We just found this sense of like, I can be the most parts of myself in this. And we both kind of knew that romance can be tricky. Yeah. You can easily lose that, and we didn't want to. And even when we started dating, there was a time, I think I was more like this, but I was like, I was afraid to date him because if we break up, I lose my boyfriend and my best friend. Like, I just didn't want to lose either one. And so I was like, maybe we just shouldn't. But I think we decided to feel like this does not feel like friendship.
Yeah. But I do agree. I feel like I found such a friend in him. I found so much just safety in him. And I think prior to that, I had never felt so seen. And I think someone just like me really truly feeling enough. Like in that friendship, I felt like, man, I can really come to him about anything. He's not gonna judge me. He's gonna like somehow make it better, And I just really, to this day, like I really still love our friendship, but I needed that so bad at that time. And I was so afraid obviously I always thought he was like beyond gorgeous, and I thought he was just a great person. But when it was turning into, the romance, like he was saying, I just was so afraid I was gonna lose my friend. And I was just asking myself, like, is this worth it? Obviously it was so worth it, but he was just such a great friend to me that
straight up. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, friend,
But yeah, I thank God I did. Thank God I said not it's worth it, because it ended up being worth it. But yeah, he's just an awesome person.
Mm-hmm. And I think what we both realized in the beginning of meeting for the first time was that it wasn't awkward. And usually friendship, platonic relationship, no matter what it is, it's a little awkward at first. You have to get acclimated to them being in person. At the time, he was cosplaying at 6 feet. He's not 6 feet. You know what I mean?
I said 5'11" though. Like honestly, I said 5'11", which is still a little.
It's still a stretch, 10 though, in boots. You know what I mean? And I think it was like really interesting to both of us. I remember like maybe 2 days after meeting, we were like, this is not awkward. And he was like, yeah.
I just remember having like so much fun. Like I think we were going somewhere. I think we were going to dinner or something, and I just randomly ran and jumped on his back, and like he just was going with it. Like he was just, I think I always thought he was a fun person. But again, like he was saying, in person you never know, And there were no awkward silence. I could just be my playful, childlike self. And I thought that was just fascinating, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
We went to, I forgot the restaurant, but it was my birthday. And I didn't, it was just a random, a regular day, a regular birthday for me. It wasn't like I wasn't turning up a certain age or anything. We went to a restaurant and he had I didn't know any of this. Like he had the waiter come out with a cake and like sing happy birthday. And I just was like, to me, it was just so much effort because I don't know how I missed all of that. I don't know if he was like, did you go to the bathroom and like set this whole thing up? And I just thought it was, even though it was a small gesture, I just thought it was just so amazing he thought of me in that way. Because I was super chill on my birthday. I was like, I don't need all of it.
Joyce.
It was Joyce. It was
That
Joyce.
song's called Joyce.
And I think it was more of a feeling like because we were in that space of trying to figure out the friendship and the romance, and I think that was the date that kind of solidified it for me. Like, oh, I feel really loved and cared for right now, but not in a way like this my homeboy, my friend. This is like, oh, like I really really like him like that though.
I think it was a lot of moments, and I think I continue to have those moments where there's something that, whether it's something he does or something that I do, right? I think the person that's for you will have you doing things you don't normally do, and I think the person that's for you will also do things that you may not ordinarily like or be able to bend to, and I find myself being comfortable in conflict. I find myself wanting to tell him hard truths. I find myself feeling just ultimately safe. And I think in my life, safety has always been a priority. As I navigate any waters, friendship, work, my own life, And the beauty, I think, of us was like, I wasn't a person who was uncomfortable being single. That just wasn't my energy. I wasn't like, I need a man. I just wasn't my vibe. And so I kind of always trusted that if I gave somebody an extreme amount of time, that I meant it, And so for him, I say this often, and it probably sounds so like rudimentary, but he's just really, really warm. And it's like legitimately, you just feel like in the middle of December kind of warm. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like one of those things that you can't shake. Okay.
I think he is the most considerate person that I have ever met. Short story. I recently got diagnosed with ADHD, but before that, I was just really struggling with some of the symptoms, and I was talking to him about it, and just let him know like what I was going through and like how tough it was, and fast forward maybe like a week later after that conversation, he called me on my way to work, and he was just like, I'm really proud of you. And I'm like, why? And he was telling me about how in college he took this course where he learned about ADHD, and he learned that a sure sign of it is leaving cabinets open. And I always leave the cabinets open, not on purpose, but like the ADHD. And he was like, I'm just so sorry that you have so many competing thoughts. And he was really like, he meant it. I could tell he really felt so bad that I was, going through this. And I remember just crying because I had never felt seen like that, seen in that way where I'm like, oh, he really gets me and he's really determined to get me even more and learn me. And that really, it still to this day like blows my mind. And I went home, I went to his house the next day, and he is a very clean, like his home is immaculate. Like there is not a spot anywhere, right? There is nothing. You're scared to move when you walk in there. And I walk in the kitchen and every single cabinet door was open. And I was just so like, wait, what? Because it for him that is not what happens in his home, And I felt so cared for and considered and like understood. I just stood there for a second and I was like, okay, babe, that you do know that like it's okay. You could close the cabinet. It was like no, like those cabinets will stay open. I don't care who. Like it doesn't matter. You will feel seen. You will feel heard. I am full support of you. You know, and it took me like 45 minutes to convince him. Like, babe, you know, like you can close the cabinets. But I think that moment made me like I unlocked a new level of love for him that I honestly can't even really put into words.
I feel like he's a processor, which I am not. You know, and I think before him, I thought compatibility was thinking alike. But I think a lot of what compatibility is like complementary opposites. You know what I mean? And I think when we're navigating different things, I just notice, because in my life, honestly, I've always been, I'm good. That was my energy. I'm good. I don't need anything. I'm good. I can figure it out on my own. And so because of that, it didn't leave a lot of room for help. A lot of people didn't change their ways for me because you didn't know I needed you to. And because our communication is so open and honest, I've watched him change for me. And even when we were friends, I used to always say, like, you know, I want somebody who's willing to adjust for me. And I think just navigating relationship now and seeing the amount of adjustments that, I mean, we both make, but that specifically he makes on my behalf. Because I think even for me, I'm a thinker. I don't call myself an overthinker, but I call myself an adequate thinker, but I do think. And, you know, I kind of can anticipate his needs a little bit better than he can anticipate mine, just being honest. But to see somebody who is like so committed to his own personal growth to be the best version of himself for me, it's just an unmatched feeling. You know what I'm saying? I can't even think about a specific encounter because he's always grow. Even his diagnosis for ADHD was predicated around him not showing up how he wanted to show up in our relationship. And so it's like for someone to see the value in me enough to go inward, oh man. And I can see it, I can feel it, I can trust it, you know? It's been a really, really beautiful journey to see him grow, both for himself and for us. And it's easy to be combative. You know, it's easy to be like, I'm not wrong, you are, or I'm not this, or it ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? And not saying it doesn't happen in ours, but like for us, we always say like we come down really beautifully. Like we don't, I don't think it's about never getting up there, right? But I think we come back to our love, back to our attraction, back to our relationship quickly, and I will admit.
I feel like we come back to our home frequency fairly easy because I can trust that, like, he wants what's best for me. I can trust that he wants me to be my full autonomous self. Like he, even if it doesn't benefit him at all, like he wants me to be me, you know? And so I just think I have a lot of trust that he wants me to be okay. Like he wants what is best for me in that moment.
That's facts. Like, and it doesn't sound cute to say or romantic to say, but literally, like, if you cannot be your full self here, get up out of here. And I love you dearly, but like, if you can't be the full you, let me know what time it is and we can figure out what it looks like. But there's no point in you being here if you can't be your full self. And I'm not gonna always be like super like, yes, his full self looks like this today. Some days that full self is wearing me. That full self is wearing me out. But at the same time, if you don't have an avenue to be able to be that self, get up out of here. And likewise to myself. But I think a bigger part about our conflict resolution style is like knowing that we always won't get it right. Like sometimes it will be childish. Sometimes you are being petty. Sometimes you are like, and I don't call it arguing though. Like his threshold for arguing is different than mine. Like,
but you call nothing arguing.
Yeah, we haven't really argued in my opinion. Like we have healthy debates and we've sometimes had like petty discussions, but you know, and we're both big on this too. I'm not getting cursed out. It's just not happening. Like it's just, there's never a lane, never an occurrence, never a situation in which you can ever curse me out, you can ever get aggressive with me. It just will never happen. And so I think both of us kind of know that like our boundaries are clear. And so we kind of both know not to test them waters. You know, when it's murky, you're like, I can see if I can get away with an F you or this. With us, it's like, don't even play them games because we'll become strangers and there's no shade.
And I think we are legit on the same team.
Yeah,
I think
for
we
sure.
both know that. Yeah.
For sure. Even when themselves be wearing me, but he can still be his full self.
You said that 2 times, man.
I had a third one in my pocket, but I kept it cute. Okay, sorry.